Almost forgot to add myself right there, man. I can't
Well,
believe it's open to back. We got Swiss Army Shawn, myself, nice special guest. We have the man, the true king of Charlestown.
good.
Mendez. How are you, Marshall?
How are you guys?
Good, thank you. So last year you were winning about 8% of your races. You won
Yes.
about $300,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, right now we're January, February, March, yeah, a little bit more than 3 months into the year, closing in on $1 million,
Yes.
and you're winning at 18%. What happened, man? What happened?
I mean, the hard work, been pretty tough. We got to work really hard for it. It's difficult because at the beginning, like nobody wanna believe. No, not that nobody wanna believe in you. No, nobody wanna take a risk, and an apprentice to lose a race. And I understand that, but like, guy had to give a little chance to the apprentice too.
Hmm. But
Uh,
now they must be knocking down your door, right? Are you getting how many more phone calls are you getting now than you got before?
I mean, a lot,
Yeah, a lot.
a lot. Yeah.
So are you from the same? Did you go to the same school in Puerto Rico that all these great Puerto Rican jockeys they went to?
No, I tried to go and thing happens. I got an accident in a horse and I cannot get to the school. So I went to Belmont and I started learning how to gallop in there, and I came to here to make my dream. And that was my main focus.
So tell us about how that happened. That first time you got a ride. So who came to you and said, you know what, Marshall, we're going to give you a chance
As a rider or as a jockey?
as a jockey?
As a jockey, there was this guy Diesel. His name is John Brown. I mean, I wanna like I wanna get my apprentice, my apprentice rider, my apprentice license. And at the beginning, nobody wanna give me a chance, so I went there, and this guy told me, "You could be a jockey. Come and help me, and I will help you." And we started working together, and thanks to my girlfriend that she helped me a lot, Sarah Wendy. A little tough to be.
So a little bit of technical difficulty. Sean, are you freezing or is it just
Yeah, yeah,
Marshall?
no, he's freezing.
Okay, well that happens sometimes. It's probably cold in West Virginia, right?
Oh, well,
See,
shouldn't have been too bad today.
nah, there you're back. You're back, Marshall. You kind of went you went a little bit robot on us back in the old days. You remember those dances? You're kind
Yeah.
of frozen up a little bit on us. So we were joking a little bit beforehand. I mentioned that you had won $300,000 last year. You're over $1 million this year, or you're going to be over $1 million probably tomorrow night. But so with that in mind, you said you got a new car. So tell us, what kind of new car did you get?
I got a BMW.
Do you drive it like you ride the horses?
I mean, no.
Nah, you don't drive fast off the track?
No.
You don't want to spend all that money in tickets, that's for sure, right?
No.
So what are your plans? Like, are you planning on stay at Charlestown, or are you hoping to get to maybe head up north a little bit towards the New York circuit parks? Tell us a little bit about where you see yourself in 5 years.
I mean, I live day by day. If I got a good opportunity, me and Marcus are doing great right now. There's nothing, I can complain about him. We're doing great. We hustle every day. We work really hard for it. For me to leave this track right here, I had to get a good opportunity. A good chance for me to leave this track. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow because I just live day by day. I don't have any plans in the future. Maybe if a good agent called me, I would try. But me and Marcus are doing great right now, so
Yeah,
I
we
don't know
had
what's
Marcus on the show. What, about 2 weeks ago, Sean? Is that about right?
It was a little longer than that, maybe a month
A
ago.
little longer than that, about a month ago.
Yeah,
He gave us a bad basketball play, but
And I was going to say he's definitely watching, crossing his fingers that Marshall's not planning on leaving anytime soon. He's thrilled with you.
well,
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I mean, because I don't know how all this works. So as far as the agents are concerned, what stops, if anything, Marcus from going to like Aqueduct or Belmont or Saratoga and trying to get any mounts? Is there like, do you have to get a license there? Because I'm unfamiliar with how all that would work.
Yeah, I have to get a license right there, get my thing straight out, and I mean, I cannot say no to the opportunity if somebody call,
Mm-hmm.
over there. Marcus want to go with me, I will go with him for sure. But it's on his side,
Mm-hmm.
whatever he want to do.
So let me ask you, what's your typical day like? I read that you're a hard worker, that you're around the barn all the time. So why don't you describe what like your typical day is? What time you get up, kind of what you go through. So the day in the life of Marshall Mendez.
I mean, I wake up by 6 a.m., 6:40, to take a shower and be at the track by. I live 5 minutes, next to the track. I gotta be at the track by 5:25, the most late, to be at the track at 6:30. So gotta work, until 11. After 11, I come home, take a nap for like an hour or two. After that, I gotta go to the gym and I gotta run,
Mm-hmm.
lose weight, go to the gym and come back by, I don't know, like 6. Gotta be home. Depend,
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I take a little bit of eat. Cannot eat much. Take a nap, and the next day, same thing.
So as far as the diet is concerned, not eating, is that something that do you count calories? Just use the scale? Tell us a little bit about like how difficult it is as
I
a
mean,
growing young man to maintain that weight.
you gotta eat. You gotta eat really small portions. I eat one time a day.
Hmm.
A lot of water. You cannot drink any sugar because your body went up. The weight go up. I mean, it's tough, but at the end of the day, it's paying off.
Oh yeah, you could see that in the Equibase, the
Yeah.
jockey profile stuff. It's absolutely paying off. I got to imagine when you're closing in on that $1 million mark, you got
Yeah.
you got the money to eat whatever wherever you want. Man, that's got to be more difficult. You know,
Right.
that steak is calling, I'm sure, right?
For sure. Yep.
How are you doing tonight, Shawn?
I'm doing great, Marshall. So we did have Marcus on. So how did that all come about? Marcus seek you out? Do you seek Marcus out? How did that start?
I was riding on my horning. And I want to make a move. I want to make a move because they don't use the apprentice there. They don't use the apprentice there a lot, because it's 5 pounds. So I get it. You don't want to waste a race in an apprentice when you got your journeyman. The jockey for the barn. Give it a chance to apprentice to lose the race. So I want to make a move, and Guillermo Rodriguez, my brother, and he said, "Yo, I got a good agent for you. Just take a shot. If you don't like down there, just come right back. You can still come right back." So I was like a little, how can I say? I was a little.
Hesitant?
I don't want to make
Nervous?
the move because I don't want to take the risk to lose the chance. Over there that was riding to came here to make my name and see what was gonna happen if I like the track or no. I didn't know. So he told me think about it and just let me know. So one day I was riding over there and Marcus came down there to see me ride. And that day I won with this horse Sharko and Mahoney. And he said, "Yo, I got a lot of business for you." Blah blah blah. We talk, about the business. He said, "Think about it and just let me know." You told me if you want to come, you can come here in January 2nd and we can start over. If you like it, you can stay. If not, you can come right back. So I take the chance and I like it. I like
Speaking
it. Right
your
there. Yeah.
speaking of your apprentice, how long do you have left in that, and how does that all work?
I had to until November 10. Everything is start when you win the fit race. So that's when it start, my buck boy.
So you won that the first night, right?
And then, that question was actually on social media, and some people said it mattered and it doesn't matter. But how much do you think weight matters in a race?
a lot,
Oh,
a lot, because if you're not winning, you're not doing good. People don't look at you like you're doing a good job. You know what I mean? And I believe that everything is in a horse, because we on top of the horse to guide the horse. You know what I mean? If you do a good race and you got a good spot, you will win.
but
No, as long the horse feel like 95% good, you will win. But
speaking of switching tracks, there's one thing that Charlestown don't have: turf course. Have you ever ridden a turf? And is that something you're looking to add?
no, they don't have a turf course right here. I never rode in a turf course. I breeze a lot of horses in Saratoga in the turf. I got a little bit of experience, but like racing, like a normal race, I never been in the turf.
Is there any jockeys that have really helped you get to this point?
Uh yeah, I got a few ones that they always, give me my little, comment. Yo, you're doing this good, you're doing this bad. Like Louis Rivera, he always calling me and texting me, yo, wait, what you doing? Make the right decision. I got Carlos Lopez in here, Bobby Quinones. They always right there and pointing me, calling me restricting me what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong.
Hmm. So when they tell you something, as far as when they tell you something wrong, how do they approach that? Is it like a father, like, yo, you're doing this wrong, or
Yeah.
is it more like a friend, like, hey, you might
Okay.
think about doing this?
Luis Rivera always telling me like like a father. I always call him, yeah, you're my dad, because he always telling me what to do. You're doing this right, you're doing this wrong, and I appreciate it because to the apprentice, like most of the all the jockey doesn't talk to them, doesn't give
Hmm.
instruction. I like in the track that I've been, I got lucky because Luis Rivera always telling me what to do, what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right.
So how did you get into horse racing? Is it something you wanted to do as a little boy growing
Yeah,
up?
I always want to be a jockey since I was young. My cousin is a jockey. He was a jockey before. His name is Manuel Chavez. So I follow his steps. I do not get into the school because I have an accident in a horse. I cannot made it by then. So I came down to New York when I was 18. He brought me up here and I start my step.
Hmm. So what other when you're not at the track, you're not at the gym, you're not eating once a day. So what do you do for fun?
I don't hang out with them. I just always go to work and come home. Sometimes I take trips. I go to New York City with my girlfriends and spend the day here and there. But I don't like to be hanging out with nobody. I'm always by myself. My agent and my girlfriend. That's it.
So yeah, I can understand you're working very hard to become successful, right? That's the number one goal right now.
Yeah, I don't.
Absolutely. So what's the secret to winning? So when we're handicapping, obviously, do you spend a lot of time handicapping the night before? Or do you leave that all to Marcus?
I like to leave it in the morning. I watch the races between. When I have a break in in the gallop morning. I leave it for because I don't like to stress my. I don't like to put a lot of stress on my mind from the
Hmm.
day before. So what I like to do at the day of the racing, so I watch all the replays, how the horse like to run, if he like to run in the front, in the back, or close to the pace. So that's what I like to do. Watch the program. What is the best horse? Who's the speed? Who going from? Who coming from? From the back, and that's kind of how I started my book.
Mhm. So what's your favorite place to be on the track? Do you prefer to be in the back, the front? Or tell us how you, if you could describe your perfect ride, like the perfect horse for you, would it be one that comes from the front, the middle, the back? Why?
I like to be in the middle. I don't like to be too much in the back. And if I have a lot of speed, the horse is gonna take you to the lead no matter what. But I like to be in the middle, like to be watching what's going on. That's how I like it. I like longest races, like long distance, 6.5, 7 full long, long.
Not a fan of the 4.5 furlongs.
No.
I say, nah, it's all right. But he likes when he wins on him, I'm sure.
Yeah, sure.
So, quick question for you. A lot of jockeys that we've talked to said they talk to the horse. Do you talk a lot to the horses too, or no?
Yeah, yeah. Calm them down a little bit, make them relax, and it's better for them, because they get a lot of stress going to the races. Most of them, not all, most of the horses that are really sharp, and you gotta talk to them so they can calm down a little bit, make you feel better and more relaxed in the horse.
So, what sort of things do you tell them? That you can't tell us what you tell them. It's a secret.
Yeah,
That's all right. I understand for sure. So, go ahead, Shawn. I'm sorry.
That actually brings up a question. I've never asked a jockey this, but it looks so tense inside the gate. How's that experience being inside the gate, especially when another horse is acting up?
it's really tense. It's really tense. The horse can act up anytime. You have to pay attention a lot to the horses and be the most relaxed you can to try to have a good trip, and a good break, because that's all in the race. A good break and a good trip, and you can win the race.
Was that the scare? Your first race last year, was that like the scariest part, being in the gate for the first time?
Yeah, no, I got a little nervous. I got a little tense, but it was when the action started. That's when I get nervous. And the race started. That's when I get nervous. Oh, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to make anybody in trouble.
I have a question for you too. As far as there's I don't know the name for this person in there, but there's always a person that's in the gate with you that's trying to like keep the horse's head straight.
Starting
right?
gate.
Inside the starting gate, right? There's
Like
because you're in there. There's assistant starter. That's what it's called.
Gate worker.
Gate worker. How important is that gate worker to helping you get that horse out of there straight?
I mean,
and
you got
fast?
You got to release a little bit of them, but you cannot put your your whole trust in the starting gate, because most of the time they don't send them good. You have to like correct the horse yourself. You know what I mean?
Do you have a lot of communication with that person that's in there, or is it kind of like they're doing their thing and you're doing your thing? Do you like
right? You don't talk to them much. Like if you feel the horse is not standing good, you gotta tell them, "Yo, my horse is not standing good. Just give me a break." They give you a couple break. A little break. But if all the horses are calm and your horse is acting up, they give they start like they cannot wait too long in there neither.
I've talked to multiple jockeys that actually said if they got the wrong person to help them, they knew already that the race was kind of lost. Do you kind of ever have that feeling?
Yeah, I have that feeling a little bit.
Has it ever been wrong, or is it always right?
Sometimes, sometimes, like I said, it's depend on the horse. The horse feel good to win. You're gonna win no matter what.
So I one thing that I see that I wonder sometimes, because there's got to be some gamesmanship before the race, and I see sometimes like you're the first horse in, and there's another like 7 to load, and so the last horse to load. Sometimes I wonder do you ever feel like they're deliberately taking too long just to make the other horses in the gate more anxious so that they can get in and go right away?
No, it's not like that. Most of the time, something happened at the gate, so they gotta wait until they correct all the horses to lower them in. But I don't think it goes like that.
So do you find that when they're in there for a long time, so you're the first one in and say it takes 2 minutes to get all of them in there, maybe longer, do you find that the horses get more anxious the longer they're in there, or the longer they're there, they start to calm down because they become comfortable with their surroundings?
Yeah, they're like, most of the time they come down, and sometimes I call it they fall asleep in the gate. So sometimes you got a good break, sometimes you don't.
So the longer you're in there.
Long in there,
For sure. Shawn, any other questions, my man?
So you said about the 5 years. I know probably Kentucky Derbies, that's most jockeys. Any other long-term goals that you see? Any other races you're circling or any other track you're circling on?
I don't have any, like I say, I live day by day. If somebody give me the opportunity to ride any track, I would like to try, I kind of personally like the Keeneland racetrack. The turf course is nice. The dirt is nice. I mean,
do you watch horse racing when you're not?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I watch the Keeneland races and Aqueduct. I watch them a lot.
Those Keeneland races are hard to handicap because it's just like any horse could win, and it makes it difficult for sure. We're going to be doing Keeneland tomorrow, so at 12 o'clock your time, 1 o'clock your time, Terry and I will be making our picks, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm in a little bit of a cold streak right now. So when you get in a cold streak as a jockey, how much does that bother you?
A cold streak? What do you mean?
Like when you go a couple of days, 2-3 days, you haven't won a race, and you feel like it's never going to happen again.
Has that happened to him this year? Because I don't think that's happened to him this year.
There was like 3 days that I don't win a race, but next week I win like 6. It's up and down.
Yeah, 5 or 6 or 4.
Yeah.
It's up or down, right? So when you go like 2 or 3 days without a win, do you really start to think about it, or do you just one's coming and not to worry about it?
I get a little stressed, but no, I don't put a lot of stress on my head because I don't you can block your head and you do things wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I try to don't put a lot of stress on my mind.
Yeah, you take it easy. I understand. It's a good attitude to have. Take it day by day, like you said, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely, 100% for sure. Well, Marshall, we appreciate your time. We certainly having a lot of fun watching you race, and it makes it really easy for us to handicap at Charlestown. Just circle Marshall, and you probably have the winner, right?
I mean, try always,
Absolutely, always for sure. Try. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, Marshall. We'll be keeping an eye out, and certainly we hope that you and Marcus continue to have tremendous success at Charlestown and wherever your skills take you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. You guys have a great night.
Thank you. You as well.
Here, and good luck to you.
Indeed. We'll be talking again soon down the line. I'm sure of it. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Back to you being the big head.
Got it.
It's all accidental, Shawn.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it is accidental. I honestly don't know how it works. I think it's the one that's on the top goes to the left. But now I got that figured out. So I want to thank Sarah Wentling for putting in for the love that she got us on Facebook, and Terry, of course, TD Houghton, Terry TD Touchdown Houghton, 2 of our favorite.
Well, Sarah Wetling, Marshall Mendez's girlfriend, so she's putting in the love for Marshall.
Yeah. It's all right. Hey, Shawn, we'll take it wherever we can get the love from, Absolutely. Right? We appreciate it.
She watches their show too.
The thumbs up that we get on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, every single one of them, whether they love Marshall or they love us, it doesn't matter. It all ends up being a big positive. YouTube doesn't know that. The algorithm doesn't know.
But again, we'll say that's the first time I'm really talking to him besides text message. Who wouldn't love Marshall, man? He's got the right attitude, and he's going to be successful for a long time. So
he's got that charismatic smile, man, that I'm up to something smile, right?
And a lot of the jockeys have the same characteristics as far as they're very calm. They don't, take it day to day. And you got to have that attitude. And besides weight, there's probably other reasons why I'm not a jockey too.
Yeah, probably. So one thing I want to talk about today, Shawn, is Woodbine. I was wondering, did they close Woodbine forever or something up there? I guess it was closed, well, for COVID. I mean, obviously, right? But it's probably one of the few tracks that hasn't really opened. That was a major track, right? It's the biggest track in Canada, and they're going to open up on the 15th or 16th of April again for the first time since 2019. For 3 years, the track has been closed.
Did it say that closed for 3 years or just not open on time?
Well, it hasn't the first time since April 2019.
Wow. Yeah,
so that's three. Okay,
that is 3 years.
I guess math might be another reason why you might not be a good.
No, I'm good at math. It just that went quick. I always loved playing Woodbine. I mean, they're another one, full fields, and you can get prices, and so yeah, I'd look forward to Woodbine. They're another one too. You know, you get a full field. I like to go by jockeys a lot of times, and you can get some of the good jockeys at good 5 to 1, 6 to 1, and cash in.
Well, you got up there Patrick Husbands, right? That's pretty much the biggest jockey up there, year in and year out.
Luis Contreras, and I know he just got replaced with the one horse that he was riding for the Derby or Kentucky Oaks. But yeah, he's a good rider too. So they got a few up there.
Yeah, Emma Jane Wilson rides up there too, right? She does a pretty good job all the time up in there. So you might be on the show one of these days, right?
Yeah, it should be next month. One of the Mondays early next month. She was looking at her calendar and she's going to text me the date and I'll announce it when it does.
Ah, good. So hopefully we're looking forward to that. So one track opens, and unfortunately, Terry, somewhere in the suburbs of San Francisco, I think, because he lives up around Golden Gate Fields, Terry. Somewhere there's Oregonian tears flying from Terry tonight because Grants Pass canceling the 2022 meet, because we talked about this before, where they were going to have they had that flying lark pass or whatever that they want to do that the legislators shot down. And now they said, well, we're going to take our soccer ball and go home. If we can't play, nobody can play.
Yeah, this just looks like a downward direction, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. Hopefully, now this is the commercial race meet. I guess they have another meet later in the year, so hopefully they're
able to get it together. But if you read through the commentary here, it almost sounds like the gentleman who was trying to get that says, this is the result of the state and its leadership's lack of understanding of and appreciation for the equine industry and the needs of rural Oregon. I believe this is just the beginning of a ripple effect that will be felt in communities throughout the state but he also talked a little bit here about there's another sentence in here. It says here, while we remain hopeful that we'll be able to host a viable race meet, the uncertainty here and across the industry has resulted in a drastic reduction of racehorses at Grants Pass Downs. At this point, it's unclear running the meet isn't feasible. So I don't know that that's going to change, Shawn. I mean, those dynamics are there, and if you're a horseman with horses, are you gonna take that chance to bring your horses there, and there's not going to be racing?
Yeah, it's very unreliable.
Patrick Husband's retired. Well, that's not surprising. I mean, if the track's not open for 3 years, it's kind of forced retirement, no?
Yeah. To go back on your other thing, yeah, if it's looking in the downward direction like that, no, you're not going to rely on that. And I know it did say a bunch of jobs are being lost there too because of that exact reason. So
yeah, I saw an interesting thing today on the timeline of somebody that we'll be talking to soon about horseracingtoday.net. And in it was like all of the supporting jobs around one horse. And it was amazing how many people it takes to just bring one horse to the track. It's like 10 people per horse, which is it's an amazing number.
Yeah, it is.
So you think about all those different horses and all those different people that have jobs. And, you know, in that I wrote an editorial piece at the beginning of the pandemic about essential workers and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, for everybody, what is it? 80% of Americans, something like that, some high number, live paycheck to paycheck. So for 80% of the people in this, you know, here, and we're the richest country or one of them in the world, if 80% of the people, their job is essential, man, I don't care who you are, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, for sure. So I was always curious about that language. As far as I'm concerned, you know, my job is essential because, hell, I want to eat.
Yeah, that really became big with COVID when the people that had no choice but to work and they couldn't get paid to sit at home, then it really highlighted the absolute essential workers because they couldn't stay at home and get paid. They had to be at work no matter how dangerous it was.
But to me, if you have a job, everybody's been open. They only close during the winter, but they haven't run races since 2019. So what are they doing up there then? Are they just running the horses, but not running races, which is even more asinine in my opinion. If you're going to do 99% of everything except just actually run the race, that makes no sense to me. Does that make any sense to you at all, Shawn? Because that was the same thing with so many tracks during COVID, is that they had to keep the horses running. So the barns and everything were operating. They were doing everything but running the races.
We have to read that article. I thought it was that it has opened on time since 2019 because I thought they've raced in between 2019 and here.
Did they?
But then when you showed it to me just now, then I was misled too. I don't know.
Oh, it says without delay. Okay.
Okay, yeah. They've been delayed and everything else because, the whole COVID thing up there too has not been any better, probably worse.
So reading comprehension.
Yeah.
Math might not be your skill, but apparently reading comprehension is not mine. Something else that's not comprehending, Shawn, all they are asking is to give HISA a chance. States after state after state is rejecting the ability, the wantingness to collect funds for HISA. So this is something that's got to be ironed out. But there's some language in this article over at Horse Racing Nation that has me a bit concerned too. You have a gentleman, Ed Martin, who says that, and this is something that was brought up to us by Mike Smith. He said they offered HISA through the maze of various state governments. We offered our best advice on how to make all this work, offered them free office space, free support staff, free committee coordination. Those offers and much of our advice as to the realities of dealing with state government were often ignored. I don't know. Well, you weren't a part of that conversation, but when I was interviewing Mike Smith the first time around, I said to him, because he's talking about horse racing and the rules and all that sort of stuff. And I mentioned to him, well, why don't you're Mike Smith, right? You have a forum, you have a platform.
I was there for that.
Well, yeah, and so why don't you just call the senator or your representative? And he's like, what, you think I haven't done that? We can talk to these people till they're blue in the face and nobody listens. And this is the thing that I feel like I'm worried about with the bureaucracy, is that you have a bunch of people who have really very limited to no experience, perhaps, as this gentleman mentioned, especially at how things work at the state level, coming in and just, like bulls in China shop, we're going to do it like this instead of having some kind of coordination, which is something I find to be concerning.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning. And I've tried to email, see if I get anything back. If anybody can get a hold of this Lisa, what's her last name?
Lisa Lazarus.
We would love to have her on the show and do an interview with her and see where we could find out more and, have a conversation.
Yeah, we have a fun conversation about that because like I said, I've always felt like the easiest solution. I'm a big fan of Occam's razor, right? The easiest solution is probably the best solution, or the most the easiest explanation is probably the right explanation. It just seems to me if the big guys got together, much like Vince McMahon did with the WWE, right? He took all these factions, brought them together under one umbrella, had one roof. When I was a kid, it wasn't like that. You had Northeast Wrestling, Southeast Wrestling, Western Wrestling, Mideastern. They're all different wrestling organizations. So Vince McMahon took them all, put them in the WWE, and it worked. And then, of course, you had the UFC, now with Dana White, right? Dana White is, at first, you had like Strike Force. And I don't know, he had so many different brands of these MMA fighters. And Dana White brought them all under one roof. The UFC uniformed the rules and regulations and all that stuff, and it worked. So here you have real life examples in the real world of a very similar situation. We have fragmented businesses where there was somebody who came in, not the government, but the free market, so to speak, came in, collared all those cats together, and then came up with a better product. And I can't understand for the life of me why horse racing can't follow that model.
Yeah, and what's funny, I don't want to use the word funny, but the Baffert thing, everybody is getting on the same page and doing the same rules. So hopefully maybe that's the start of it. I mean, this is going to start, June 1st, were they implementing the rules and all that sort of stuff? Is it June 1st? I think June 1st, is the first day. Hopefully I read that right. was
But
thinking
it looks to me like the
July
first part of it of July 1st. There you go.
Yeah.
So I didn't read that right. So
Oh,
the
man,
first
I'm
part
super
starts
cute.
July 1st, and then another part starts next year in 2023. I don't want to put any dates out there because apparently my reading comprehension is way off today.
You just got a million
Or
things.
my reading retention.
Yeah.
Might be my comprehension might be fine. It's just the retention that's off.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a million things to do, and you're trying to capture it. You didn't capture it tonight. That's all.
Hey, tomorrow, we hadn't put it up yet today, but tomorrow, make sure you head over to horseracingtoday.net. Our Chris Parmelo put together a great article on the horse crown pride, and I'll be posting that tomorrow. It's a heck of a great write-up. So I know I don't think he's going to have the time to highlight every horse, but I know for the Kentucky Derby that he'll start putting a couple together on some of these horses. It's like a 500 page, 700 word article, and really breaks this horse down. So it'll be, if you're interested to see how Crown Proud might do in the Kentucky Derby, the pluses and the minuses, that'll be up tomorrow at horseracingtoday.net. I absolutely love the work Chris does, Shawn.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he, as far as a handicapper and stuff, he blows anything I do out of the water, man. He knows his stuff, and I'm learning stuff from him. And his writing's unbelievable, too.
Yeah, I'm talking about his writing. I'm sure he's a great handicapper, but
well, you know what's, the way the Japan horses are doing, do you think this horse is going to be overbet in the Derby just based off of that?
No,
No,
I don't think so. And I'll tell you why, Shawn. The Kentucky Derby is unlike any other horse race. And that not just because it's the Kentucky Derby, but it's, a lot of pomp, a lot of circumstance, but it draws in so many casual fans that the casual fan that's going to go make a bet, hey, who do I bet? They have no idea that the Japanese horses have been doing well.
that's true.
So it's going to be, it's the person who follows it on a regular basis that understands how I mean, we can't do a poll, but I would guarantee you that probably 85-90% of the people who are betting on the Derby have no idea even where the horses are from.
Well, the 3-hour NBC show that they do before the Derby, I'd imagine they're going to highlight.
Who's watching that?
Well,
I don't watch that. Do you watch that?
Yeah, I watch that. Of course, I watch.
Oh my God, you ain't got a whole lot to do with it, I guess, Shawn.
Hey, I watch. I think show races that day too. So
I don't watch. Do you watch like the pregame to like the NFL and all that kind of stuff too? I don't pay any attention to that stuff.
Some of it depends.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it.
I think if people are having a horse racing like a Derby party, I think everybody's eating the chips, having fun, socializing, and then about 3 or 4 minutes before the race starts, they all gather around the TV with tickets in hand, and then as the race goes off, if they win, they didn't win, and they go back to having a party.
I think you got to at least turn it on, a half hour before the race as the horses are starting to walk back and they're in the paddock and stuff, just to see how they're reacting to the crowd and just setting the atmosphere. And
I don't think that the casual fan even thinks about that.
They're literally watching 2 minutes, which, that don't surprise me on the casual fan.
I don't know that they're literally how many minutes they're watching, but I mean, there's probably nuances to lacrosse that you have no idea, right?
I'm sure.
Right. And I mean, I don't have any idea. So if it's something that you don't have any idea about, you don't know what the intricacies and the nuances are. So you don't know that it's important to pay attention because you don't know it's important to begin with.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? You don't know what you don't know, as Donald Rumsfeld said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But on the other part too, you're probably right too. I mean, a bunch of people that don't watch horse racing have those Kentucky Derby parties and stuff. So
yeah,
they have it on. They're just probably not paying attention to it.
When I used to work, in an office, and folks would ask me always, because they all knew I was into horse racing, who are you betting on the Kentucky Derby? Heck, I have texts already from friends. Who are you betting on the Kentucky Derby? It's the only time of year I hear from them. Right. So I'm telling them I'm betting on the Kentucky Derby. They want to know. I give them a few things that they talk about with their friends, so they sound knowledgeable. And then I don't hear from them again until a couple of weeks before the Kentucky Derby. So I don't know if they're really friends, but.
And if they're texting you every year, you just must be giving them at least decent picks. Otherwise, they wouldn't be texting you anymore.
Either that, or I'm the only one that they know that knows horse racing. One or the other. So for sure. Well, I haven't known horse racing too well yesterday and today. Hopefully tomorrow with Terry at 12 o'clock Eastern. We'll get it back. Every horse player goes through a little bit of a cold streak. For me, winning 3 races out of 8, 4 out of 8 is a cold streak. I want to do better than that. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to do much better than that at Keeneland. Terry and I will be tackling Keeneland tomorrow and Thursday on Friday. We're going to be at Newmarket, I think, Tom and I, for the Foreign Fridays on Friday. And then Thursday night, Shawn, what are we doing Thursday?
We're doing Keeneland. I do not have a guest, though, yet. I'll keep plugging away and trying to figure that out. We do have, I believe we're doing Oaklawn next week, and I think I have a guest lined up for that. We'll talk about that later in the week. Tomorrow on here we have Turf Paradise announcer Craig Praddock.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't.
I was looking at the time. I don't think he's going to be announcing.
Yeah,
the race
that's
while
what
we're going off.
Gonna say. Yeah, he was saying about that. So unless we started a little bit earlier, that's not going to happen. So
we'd have to start, about 20 minutes earlier. So that's not going to happen. So it'd be fun to talk to Craig tomorrow about the happenings at Turf Paradise. And I know he said he's going to call like a steeplechase race. Get his thoughts on that Grand National race, which I don't know if you've had a chance to watch that race or not, folks. But if you do, it's an interesting race, that one where they jump over 30 fences. And I don't think, personally, I don't think it's a net positive for the sport. I don't know what other people think about it, but when you watch the race, jockeys are falling off, horses are getting clearly tired. I think they might reconsider what they're doing in that one.
I can tell you, I saw them lining up. I was like, this is just nuts. I'm not crazy about that kind of racing anyway. I missed the race. I didn't even go back and watch the replays because of what happened. I don't want to watch it.
I did watch it live, and when I watched it, it was just, to me, it kind of reminded me of, like, when you go to like a local fair and everybody brings their jalopy and they crash it up and then smash them up derbies. Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of like horse racing's version of that.
Yeah.
And it was, to me, it was, like I said, it's one of those. I emailed our Tom, 22-1 Tom, and I told him that race is straight insane, and it's nothing but fodder for the anti-horse racing types, because even I was watching it going, this doesn't look right.
Yeah, you guys said 40 horses Thursday night. No matter how you try to race 40 horses on the same course, it's probably not going to end very well.
Well, it's 4.5 miles, first of all. So it's a long run. They're jumping over 30 fences. And like the first like leap or two, jockeys are falling off right and left, right? So then you have these horses that are running stray through in the pack of all the other horses, and then on the outside, and they're veering into the way of other horses and doing so so maybe if there was a way to clear those other horses off, and when some of those horses are maybe too fatigued to go on, just stop, right? But it was definitely an interesting watch for me. If you have a chance, Google it on Google or on YouTube, take a watch, and I think you'll probably see what I saw.
Yeah, pretty sure. I'm going to pass on watching it, though.
All right. Any final thoughts as we go wire to wire on this Tuesday, Shawn? We're one day away from your sad day. Yeah,
it'll be Wednesday, and Horse Center will be over again. We got some great guests lined up for next week, too. Monday, we got next week Brianna Cup, jockey, another apprentice jockey. She was doing well at Fairgrounds. Tuesday, jockey Kevin Roman. He's been tearing it up at Fauner Park. And then Wednesday, retired jockey Rosemary Heimeister Jr. She was another one that type of pioneer, like one of the better female jockeys to come along back when she was doing it. So
yes, I remember very well, indeed. All right, well, that wraps it up today. If you like what you saw and you agree with John that we deserve a wow, give us a wow. Thumbs up and a like on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us on our social sites at Horse Race Today. Or if you're following us today on YouTube, please like us here, subscribe as well. I think we've finally got over 4,000 viewing hours, over 1,000 subscribers. We thank everybody for spending your time with us. Now we got to reach out to YouTube and say, hey, we want our dime a month.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, and that's the other thing, and I'll start naming people, but appreciate everybody that always joins the conversation on Twitter too. We have some imitators that are a little jealous by it, but I appreciate everybody that.
Don't look at that way, Shawn. Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Well, that's what I was getting at. But I appreciate everybody that is taking part in that and just doing having positive conversations about the sport that we love. And the more positive we push, maybe more the negative we can push out.
Don't let the people who don't Like I
No,
said
not
before,
that
don't
negative. I'm just saying the negative.
don't let those people, don't let the haters get to you, Shawn. You know what I'm saying? Just water off the back, baby, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you got critics, it means you're going in the right direction. That's it, my friend. And who cares what people have to say? If you don't like us, there's probably 1 million other channels on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton.
So, in any case, Shawn, it's always fun. I had a lot of fun with Marshall today. Again, he's got that I'm up to something smile. I mean, what he's up to is winning at Charlestown. So if you're doing Charlestown, make sure you circle Marshall in your past performances, especially if it looks like he's on a live horse. Looking forward to being back tomorrow, back with Terry. Hopefully we can pick some winners. Until then, Shawn, we hope your Tuesday nights, the day before your sad day, and everything that you do tonight and tomorrow before we get back together again ends up in our good friend. And we haven't seen or heard from Jay in a little while, but hopefully all is going good with Jay Marco. Hope that everything ends up in Jay Marco's
winner circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic Tuesday, and thank you for joining us. Have a great night. I got to find the end.